If you like money and fantasy football, you're going to love this free offer to make money with DraftStreet.com. In fact, you've got a chance to win my money because I'm running a $300 league today where the top 7 finish in the money. Hi guys, Al DeMarco here, and today you'll be competing against my team and amongst yourselves to win my money. Fantasy sports have changed over the years, making them more lucrative. No more waiting to get paid at the end of the season. With DraftStreet.com, you get instant gratification. Here's the deal. Go to DraftStreet.com right now. Enter this code, DeMarco, my last name. That's going to get you access to my league today. Entry costs absolutely nothing. It's free to play for a shot at winning my money. You have a $100,000 salary cap to draft your team. You've got until the 1 p.m. Eastern Time kickoffs to set your roster, and the winners will be determined when the Monday night game is over. Remember, the top 7 finish in the money with my $300 at stake. Go to DraftStreet.com, use the passcode DeMarco. Build your team now. Welcome back, everyone, to the Countdown to Kickoff Show, the only nationally televised show that breaks down every single one of your NFL games from a point spread perspective. Al DeMarco here along with Steve Budin. We're going to pick it up with Carolina, Tennessee in just a moment. But first, let's talk about fantasy football. It's not your father's fantasy football league, guys, where you had to wait till the end of the season in January to divvy up the money. Fantasy football at DraftStreet.com. $300 of my money at stake with a contest this weekend that ends on Monday night after the Packers-Vikings game. It is legit. It is perfectly legal because it's a game of skill, and it's your chance. As a matter of fact, the top 7 finish in the money, and it's $300 of my money at stake at DraftStreet.com. All you've got to do is go there, use my last name, DeMarco, and that enters you into the free contest. Steve, it was a hell of a contest last week.
Not for us.
No. We were awful. Let me tell you. FYI, Steve finished 186, which normally I would make fun of, but I finished 219th. So we don't even want to talk about that. But somebody, a username by MMPO, won the contest. Another guy, username JLoy1781, 0.14 of a point separated first and second place. And again, you're divvying up $300 of my money, top 7 finish in the money. And we should tell everybody that with this thing, you have a $100,000 bankroll, and every player has a value, and you've got to draft a couple of quarterbacks, a couple of running backs, a couple of wide receivers, etc. You've got till 1 o'clock Eastern Time today to finalize your roster. But the great thing, it's instant gratification.
This competition is great for that reason only. And we never played fantasy football because we're action junkies. We need to know if we won or lost week in and week out and not wait till the end of the year to cash a ticket. Well, now with Draft Street, that's exactly what you can do, whether you're playing our contest or playing for real. It's all determined week in and week out, and that's true action.
And it's a free contest, guys. You go to DraftStreet.com, you use my last name, DeMarco. That enters you into our contest. You're playing against us, all the handicappers at our site, among all of you out there. Top 7 finish in the money, $300 of my money at stake. And gee, you think for spending $300, I would do a little better than 219th.
Listen, what counts is we won on Saturday, we won on Sunday. At the end of the day, that's what counts.
So that's DraftStreet.com. Guys, give it a shot. Next game we want to talk about here is going to be Carolina and Tennessee. Panthers coming off a loss at home, a game that they could have forced overtime but missed a field goal late in that contest 2 Sundays ago against Minnesota. Coming off a bye. Listen, you know, the thing here with Carolina is, and I pointed that out prior to the Minnesota game when they were a 3.5 point favorite, just like in this game. This is a young team that has to learn how to win.
How to close out games.
And more importantly, you know, you've got them laying points. They're 2-6 straight up. And yet I still think there's some good reasons to take them in this spot against a Tennessee team that blew a 10-point halftime lead against Cincinnati playing at home and lost the game outright and had like 90 yards of offense in the second half of that game.
Yeah, Tennessee's about as stable as the Euro right now. You know, Carolina, at least you know what you're getting there. I mean, Cam Newton comes to play every game. He takes it to every team. He's having trouble closing games. I think he'll mature with every week. I like Carolina here. They've got a little momentum overall. I'm going to go with Carolina minus a 3.5.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. I would certainly buy down the half point, whether you have Carolina at 3.5 or 3 in either situation. The only word of warning is this is a team that is beaten up at linebacker, a lot of injuries, a team that can't stop the run, giving up 4.6 yards per carry. Tennessee's ground game is starting to get a little better with Chris Johnson rounding into a little bit of form, and Matt Hasselbeck can certainly dissect the defense that's lacking in the middle. But I agree. I think Carolina is the way to go. Miami, a team that has talent, unlike Indianapolis. Indianapolis finally broke through last week. 5 sacks of Matt Castle in Kansas City, 31-3 beatdown of the Chiefs. They had led in the fourth quarter of their previous 2 games against the Broncos at home and on the road against the Giants. Could have won one of those 2. I like Miami minus the 4 here against a Washington team that's lost 4 straight games. I've said it each of the last 2 weeks. You cannot remove 34% of the Redskins' total offense, and that's what they lost 3 weeks ago when Moss and Hightower went out with injuries, and expect this team to challenge anybody.
Yeah, I've said it many times on this show. If the Redskins were a horse, they'd bring the curtain out and inject it. They're finished. The Dolphins, look, they've got a little bit of momentum going. Football is a game of momentum. I'm going to go with the team that has the momentum. That's definitely Miami in this spot. Let's take the Dolphins.
Yeah, and do not be confused with the fact that Washington had a respectable 19-11 loss last week at home against San Francisco. 49ers dominated that game. Middle of the fourth quarter, it was still a 19-3 game. I like Miami in this one. Matt Moore, 17-23, 244 yards, 3 touchdowns in that 31-3 win at Kansas City. And Reggie Bush.
I was saying, it's become the Reggie Bush show there, and for good reason. He's playing great football right now.
Yeah, 195 yards rushing the last 2 games. Now, this is a good game and certainly fairly priced. Atlanta, New Orleans, pick 'em at the Georgia Dome. We know the history in this series. The Falcons have covered 3 of the last 4. Falcons came off the bye, hammered Indianapolis. Big deal. Steve, myself, and 9 others could have done that last week. They have won 3 straight games, but the Falcons have rarely stepped up in big games this year. But New Orleans, on the road, has had trouble this year. Last road game, remember, guys, didn't show up. St. Louis didn't show up at Tampa Bay. Interesting contest here. I think Drew Brees is going to have a tough time in this contest.
Yeah, 1-4 on the road so far this year, the Saints, but they seem to be on this seesaw. They play good, they play bad. They play good, they play bad. So who knows what they're going to do here. What Atlanta does is play good at home. They love being at home. It gives Matty Ice an extra advantage playing in Atlanta. I like that here. I'm going to go with Atlanta at home, taking the points. It's a rare opportunity.
Yeah, I like the Falcons here, and the game's all over. I mean, you can find this at Pick'em. You can find Atlanta getting one. You can find New Orleans one, depending on where you shop, where your location is. It's a crazy, crazy game. Next one is going to be Cleveland and St. Louis. Oh, before I go any further, guys, if you missed any portion of the show, remember, you can watch it in its entirety online. And remember, the second half of this show is when we're going to get all the rest of your games, and you find that online as well. Cleveland and St. Louis, another who cares game of the week. I mean, the Browns have failed to cover 5 in a row as a favorite. They've only covered 2 of their last 16 games overall. They had 172 total yards and 12 points in that loss to Houston last week. St. Louis coulda, shoulda beaten Arizona last week, outplayed them, but lost because of a special teams breakdown in overtime. A week prior, of course, upset the Saints.
Yeah, that makes St. Louis officially the worst team in the league, which means this is the battle for the worst team in the league, because if Cleveland loses to St. Louis, they become the worst team. So at the end of the day, this is like the Polish Super Bowl. And I'm going to go for the Cleveland Browns here at home. I think they have a little bit of advantage against the St. Louis Rams team that can't seem to separate, their head from their elbow, for lack of a better term.
And of course, in terms of the worst team in the league, it's because we've already relegated the Indianapolis Colts to the Pee Wee League.
Right.
They're not part of the NFL any longer. But I like the Rams in this game because Steven Jackson, 2 straight 100-yard rushing games. Sam Bradford came back off the injured list last week. A good game against Arizona, 255 yards passing and a touchdown. They outgained Arizona 383 to 262. But again, it was Patrick Pearson returning that. Can't remember now if it was a punt or a kickoff. I can't even remember. But in overtime, giving Arizona the win here. So I like St. Louis here. Cleveland just can't score, and that's a problem in the NFL.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch this game or bet this game if I was you.
Guys, remember, again, you can watch this show in its entirety online, and online is where you've got to go. If you're watching us on DirecTV, SportsTime Ohio, Dish Network, FoxSports.com, you go online right now and you will get our remaining previews of the games on some big games. Chicago and Detroit, for example. Baltimore, Seattle, San Fran and the Giants, Jets, New England. We're going to talk about all of them, give you our opinions. Remember, Countdown to Kickoff, the only show to break down all your games from a point spread perspective. DeMarco, Steve Budin, catching you again next week.